If you follow the channel, which if you do, and if you don't, I hope you subscribe, you may have recently seen the video where we cleaned this Kaskara. So I'm happy to report that the blade is still looking really good. So the cleaning worked. It's still wobbly, but a few of you in the comments asked whether or not I would be taking care of the scabbard too. And that's a very good question, because while we often put all of our focus on the sword, because, well, that's the object we're usually more interested in, the scabbard is also a very important part of the sword. And actually with antiques, it's, well, fairly uncommon to have a scabbard, so when it's well preserved, you should make sure you take care of it. And that is what we're going to do today. So just for you to see it close up, I'll show you how it is really quickly here. You can see it's in not horrible shape. It has some damage overall, but it's fairly in good condition. What you can't see on the video though is how extremely dry this scabbard is. It's almost like a piece of plastic. It's so dry. There's no humidity in it whatsoever. It almost feels like it's dusting off, like becoming dust in certain points. It's not red rot, by the way. That is luckily not present. So what we're going to do today is use products I have here available to clean it and nourish it. And what I'm using is nothing super crazy. It's a soap, leather soap. So this is a specific product for leather. It's a glycerin soap for leather. And I'm going to be using either a grease for leather or oil for leather. So these are both different products that nourish and make the leather softer, more supple, and basically hopefully bring it back to life. I'm using these because this is what I have. I do some leather work on the side as part of my other personal projects. And I use these products a lot to soften it and make the leather nice and beautiful and shiny and rich. So I'll use what I have. I'll be checking here if there's any additives or stuff that I think I need to be careful with. But this is usually, these are products meant for saddles and like horse gear. So I assume they're meant to protect the leather, not damage it, so we're going to be using these. Okay, so we have our scabbard with the sword out of the way. This should make working a little bit easier. I am going to use a little bit of this soap. I don't know if it's necessary, but I always use it on my leather. It's leather soap, maybe I should mention. So just before you maybe think I'm using like... And we'll just kind of use this sponge to... Now, this is an old scabbard, of course, so I hope... Oh, there we have some... Maybe we need to hydrate it a little bit better. We can see there's a bunch of dirt coming off, not too much though. But I think it just serves initial purpose of removing any like long-lasting dirt or stuff. I have to be a little bit careful, as you can see, because some of the leather here does peel off. There are some points where it's like not chipped, but yeah, I don't know the exact word for it, so just need to be mindful of that. But I think overall, anything we do here is going to help hydrate it. I think it already looks quite a bit nicer. So just easy does it. Oh, by the way, here we can see the wooden structure of the scabbard. So there we go. Anyway, I'll let this soak in a little bit and then we'll come back and oil it up. This should be a fairly quick process, I think. Also because too much rubbing and handling will damage, like chips will start coming off, so we don't want that. Okay, so I don't know if this next step is necessary in the sense that we are going to wax it too later. So this may be slightly redundant, but I have oil for leather. And they're both meant to nourish leather and make it more supple, and But given the conditions of this scabbard and how dry it is, before applying the wax, I think I'm going to go with a little bit of oil too, because I have the feeling that the more we nourish it and take care of it, the better it will be. Especially in this area towards the tip where you can see it's been chipping here, like, and it's really dry, like the fibers of the leather are actually visible. So we really want to get that oil everywhere. It might be redundant, but I have the feeling that it won't hurt if we use too much nourishment, given that this might have been drying up for 100 years. So there we go, just get that oil. This point here is a little unfortunate, it's slightly damaged, so we need to be a little bit careful there. So we'll just kind of pat it. I want to get into the... And I hope I'm doing it right. I do have experience with leather, but it's only with like new modern leather, so it's crazy. It's already dry here. The oil has been completely absorbed. So actually, we'll let it, look, I think you can see it almost in real time dry up. This isn't as boring maybe as watching paint dry, but it's up there. You can actually see this in real time. The leather is just soaking it up completely. Look at here. I just passed the oil here. It's basically dry. So I'll do another run of oil since it's so thirsty. And we'll just kind of feed it until it seems to need it. Being a little bit careful on the areas where there was signs of abrasion and stuff. But at the same time, it's also a way more beautiful color now. Look at this dark, lovely leather. And here, of course, is the delicate part we need to pat down. But I think it's looking really good. Okay, I'll let it dry 5 or 10 minutes, just let it absorb all of that oil, and then we'll go on to the wax step and see what happens. And honestly, that was less than 10 minutes, and the oil has been completely absorbed. I didn't dry it off or anything. You can see the leather is looking way healthier, but I mean, this is dry. There's no oil, no excess oil at least. So now I'm dabbing a bunch of this wax. I really like this. This smells really amazing. And yeah, I hope this is going to add to the protection of the scabbard. I think compared to the oil, the wax kind of has a longer lasting effect. It also coats the leather a little bit, and once it rubs in well, the leather stays a little more supple and hydrated. You can probably see the difference. Let me show you here with the tip. This is the only oil part so far, and here is the part that has been waxed. So it does make a difference. I think it makes a really good difference too. And you can see, as soon as I rubbed it in, you could see some like white streaks, excess wax, but that also gets absorbed really quickly. This leather was really in need of some care. So thank you everyone who mentioned that in the comments. We'll see the difference also. It's really interesting because this is the waxed part, this is the oiled part. At the moment, you may not see that much difference, but let me show you. As soon as I wax it up properly. Leather is such an amazing material, by the way, because it gets so dry and then it just comes back to life in a matter of minutes. So we have our wax again, just check out the difference. Look at that. You can see the shine underneath, and we'll come back to it in just a couple of minutes when I finished waxing the whole scabbard here. Look at that. Look at that compared to the only oiled part. And I say only oiled, but I mean we've put quite a bit of oil there already, so it's not like it's neglected. And I don't think there's a lot of need here to remove excess, because I have the feeling that whatever excess there is just going to be absorbed by the scabbard. So I'll just make sure I get the sides as well. And I'm trying to be careful here, but of course some flakes and stuff will come off. But I think we salvaged it really well, because this area, if you remember how it was earlier, it was all kind of chipping and flaking all over, and just look at it now. It's really beautiful. But this is the leather after a first pass. I might do another one if I see that it dries out again in a few days, because it's very possible, being so dry, it'll just kind of keep absorbing until it's saturated. So I'll check back in a couple of days, and if it needs more, I'll apply more. Otherwise, we're good. Let me put it back in. Let me put the Kaskara back into the sheath, and then we'll check it out. So here we go. Here's the Kaskara. Just look at that. And with only a little bit of wax and oil so far. Beautiful. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have leather scabbards, please, please, please take care of them. Don't let them dry out. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.